All right, let's talk Hall of Fame, Chet. 2014, we rolled out our first Philly Pressbox Radio Hall of Fame. Since then, we've added 40 names to that Hall of Fame. And each year, the fans vote accounts for the top 3 inductees, and then you pick one, and I pick one. It gets tougher each year as we're going at it, but we're going to do it again. And let's give a quick rundown, reference of all the people that we've already put in the Hall of Fame. Then we'll talk about the ballot for 2021.
Well, we all started this in the year 2014, Bill. And for those watching, I'm going to put it up on the screen. The first year we put 10 people in. I'm going to run those down. Wilt Chamberlain, Mike Schmidt, Steve Carlton, Bobby Clark, Bernie Perrant, Chuck Bednarik, Steve Van Buren, Reggie White, Robin Roberts, and Julius Erving. 10 of the very best right there in 2014, Bill.
Well, yeah, I mean, those were the easy ones, right? We went to 2015, Brian Dawkins, Richie Ashburn, Bill Barber, Joe Frazier, Pete Pihos, who could have all been on the original 2014 class as well.
And then in 2016, some more greats: Eric Lindros, Pete Rose, Allen Iverson, Charles Barkley, and Hal Greer.
Again, still talking about the cream of the crop as we're getting through these. 2017, one of your favorites, Judy Arnold, Mark Howell, Moses Malone, Dick Allen, and Brian Propp, all quality players.
Yeah, and that year, I believe I put Dick Allen in, you put Brian Propp in, but the leading vote getter was, in fact, Judy Arnold. We put her on the ballot, and she just got an overwhelming number of votes because people found out about it in the roller derby community. She's got a big following on Facebook, and she got a ton of votes, and so that's why Judy Arnold is listed number 1 in 2017.
Yep, and so that got us to 2018, and we put 4 Eagles in that year.
Yeah, Bill Berge, Maxie Bond, Harold Carmichael, and Tommy McDonald, and Jim Bunning, the lone non-Eagle. He, of course, had many great years with the Phillies.
Yep, 2019, more Hall of Famers. Bobby Jones and Billy Cunningham, Hall of Famers in the NBA. Wilbert Montgomery, Tim Kerr, Rick McLeish. Can't go wrong with any of those 3.
And that took us to the pandemic year of 2020. The people voted in Dave Schultz, Tug McGraw, and Rod Brindamore. So a couple of Flyers and the Tugger. And then I selected Seth Joyner, one of my favorites, and you went with Mike Quick.
Yep, can't go wrong with those either. But as you can see, though, Chet, it gets a little tougher because now we're down to great players, not Hall of Famers necessarily in their respective sport, but great players in Philadelphia. And our ballot for 2021, we still have guys that are Hall of Famers in their respective league that are not yet in our Hall of Fame. Go figure that.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. So we got a bunch of holdovers, and then we're going to add 6 new names to the list this year.
Yep. So our holdovers are, and this is how they finished from last year from vote-getting standpoint, least to most, okay? Darren Dalton, Chet Walker, an NBA Hall of Famer, Ron Hextall, Jimmy Rollins, Donovan McNabb, Mo Cheeks, another Hall of Famer, Gary Maddox, Bob Boomer Brown, another Hall of Famer, Chase Utley, Randall Cunningham, and Ryan Howard. And Chet, surprisingly, some of these guys have gotten very little support over the years, specifically Donovan McNabb and Randall Cunningham. They just don't get love.
McNabb especially. Now, Cunningham did, obviously, from the way you just told us, pick up a little bit of the slack last year. So Cunningham was like the second or third from the guys who did make it. Ryan Howard just missed, and then it was Randall Cunningham. But yeah, Donovan McNabb, number 5, just has never gotten the support in here. He's always in the bottom 5, and maybe it's because he wore number 5. I don't know. But we've got 6 we're going to add this year to this ballot. So we'll have, I believe it's 17 total on the ballot. I think there's 11 plus these 6. And we're going to start it out, Chet, with you. You got an Eagles star to add to the list. Yeah, the first new name on the list, Bill, is this guy right here that I'm going to put up on the screen. Good old number 21. Eric Allen played the first 7 years of a Hall of Fame caliber career with the Eagles, 1988 through 94. He made the Pro Bowl 5 times as an Eagle, one more time after that. His 34 career interceptions as a Birds safety has him tied for the franchise top spot all time in terms of picks. pretty good company, too. He's tied with Brian Dawkins and our pal Super Bill Bradley. Eric Allen, a member of the Eagles' 75th anniversary team, and he was also put in the Eagles Hall of Fame in 2011. Good old number 21, Eric Allen. Bill, you've got an old Philly who I know is one of your favorites from your youth.
Yeah, we went back to way back in the day for this one, but we're going with Johnny Callison. Philly fan favorite from 1960 to 1969, four-time All-Star, twice in 1 year, by the way, Chet. They used to have two All-Star games in the season. Twice hitting over 30 home runs, driving in 100 runs, finished second in the MVP voting in 1964. Also led the National League in doubles once and triples twice. Guy could do it all. In his 10 seasons with the Phils, he hit 271 with 185 home runs. Teamed with Richie Allen in the 3 and 4 spots that supplied the big bats for the Phils back in those days. Of course, Callison is most remembered for his walk-off 3-run home run to win the 1964 All-Star game. Johnny Callison.
And, Johnny Callison, by the way, after he left the Phillies, finished up with the Cubs and Yankees, and it was really weird seeing him in a Yankees uniform in, I guess, 73 and 74. But I digress. We got a Sixer, Bill, a Sixer to add to the ballot. Young Sixers fans may know this guy only as a mediocre coach a few years ago. But, hey, back in the day, Doug Collins was a pretty good NBA player. He was drafted first overall in the 1973 draft by the Sixers. He played 8 seasons for Philadelphia and was an NBA All-Star, in fact, 4 times, helping Julius Erving and company to the 1977 NBA Finals. They lost to the Trailblazers. Despite injuries to his feet and knee that limited him greatly the last 2.5 years of his 8-year career, Doug Collins averaged 17.9 points per game, and he is a new nominee for us this year, Doug Collins. Bill, who you got?
Doug Collins is a good one, too. It's a shame the young guys have, like you say, only know him as a coach and not as a player. He's a good one.
Yep.
All right. Well, I've got a great addition to our ballot too, Chet, that's outside the Philly teams, if you will, but Philadelphia's own boxer, Bernard the Executioner Hopkins. From the tough projects of North Philly to Graterford Prison, the undisputed world middleweight champion Bernard Hopkins had the complete journey. He lost his first career fight, then rolled off 22 wins in a row before losing to Roy Jones Jr., but that was motivation as Hopkins rolled off 24 more wins in a row, along with a tie at age 40. Hopkins struggles as he reached his 40s, finishing his career 55 wins, 7 losses, and 1 tie for his record. Considered one of the greatest middleweights of all time in a career that spanned from 1988 to 2016. Bernard Hopkins.
He's a good one. Bill, surprising that this great Eagles running back hasn't made it to the ballot previously. He's another one of my favorites. You know him, Brian Westbrook. He was drafted in the 3rd round out of Villanova in 2002, had a great 8-year run with the Birds, a couple of Pro Bowl selections, first team All-Pro honors in 2007. In addition to being credited with turning the Eagles' 2003 season around with a last-minute punt return touchdown to beat the Giants, we all remember that, B. West is 3rd on the Birds' all-time rushing list, just under 6,000 yards in total. And he's also 4th all-time in receptions with 426. He is an Eagles Hall of Fame honoree. Brian Westbrook, a definite candidate for our Hall, too. Bill, loved B. West.
Yep. And another one, the final, 6th and final, is another one that's kind of hard to believe that he hasn't been on our ballot.
A flyer.
A flyer. We've got John Leclaire. John Leclaire, he brought muscle, toughness, and goal scoring to the line of Eric Lindros and Michael Renberg. They became known as the Legion of Doom. Leclaire came to the Flyers in a trade with the Montreal Canadiens along with Eric Desjardins. After winning the Stanley Cup, Leclaire scored 2 overtime game winners in that 93 Cup series. For John's first 5 full seasons with the Flyers, he scored 51, 50, 51, 43, and 40 goals. 5-time All-Star. In all, Leclaire played 10 seasons for the Flyers, scoring 333 goals with 310 assists for 643 points in 649 games, a point a game over 10 years. The 2014 inductee to the Flyers Wall of Fame, John Leclaire.
He's a good one. He's going to get lots of votes, I predict.
Yeah, I think he will too. I think we've got 6 great additions to the ballot, and we've got a bunch of good players still on the ballot. So going to be interesting to see how this all sorts itself out. And so remember, you go to our website, phillypressboxradio.com. We'll post the ballot here when we're through. You can click on 5. You don't have to click on 5, but you can't click on more than 5. There'll be a logo over on the left on the article. Click on that. Gives you the instructions. Knock it out. It ought to be a lot of fun. And the fans select 3. You select 1. I select 1. And we'll decide, Chet, if we're going to leave this open till next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. We can decide whatever we decide.
Okay. Is that going to be up tonight, do you think, the ballot?
Yes. It's ready to go as long as it goes like it's supposed to go.
Okay.
It will be up here shortly. It's ready to go.
All right. So just to review, we have 17 names on the list, and I'm going to put them all up there now. We have the holdovers, 11 holdovers on the left column, in the middle column, then the new guys, Eric Allen, B. West, Johnny Callison, Doug Collins, John Leclaire, and Bernard Hopkins. So 17 great names from Philly sports days of yore. And can't wait to see what the people have to say.
Well, the fans have got it pretty right so far, as we said. The big question for you, sir, you have a leader in the clubhouse? You got somebody in your radar?
Well, Ryan Howard just missed getting in last year. In fact, he was – not only did he just miss vote-wise, he was going to be your selection, and then at the last second you went with Mike Quick instead. So, yeah, Ryan Howard has got to be a guy who's going to get a lot of consideration. Along with Rollins and Utley, people still remember those great, Phillies players from the late aughts. And I have a hunch Brian Westbrook and Randall Cunningham will get lots of consideration. And as I said, John Leclaire. So those are, I guess, the 6 or 7 names that I think are going to do pretty well.
Yeah, I do too. And again, it's going to leave behind the Mo Cheeks, Chet Walkers, Bob Browns, guys in their own Hall of Fame already. Probably going to get left behind, but who knows?
Yeah, I think Dutch Dalton also. And so a couple others maybe will get dropped from the list next year because there's still some other great names that we can add, to this list. David Akers, Jerome Brown, several others.
Yep. Well, and I thought real long and hard about putting Jerome Brown on this ballot. But since we already had the Eagles in there, I kind of pushed that one off one more time.
Yeah, we'll get to them eventually.
We'll see how it turns out. The fans seem to get it right, and no reason to think they're not going to do it again.
Mm-hmm.